Welcome to Caliente Topics. This is our daily tax webcast. My name is Veronica Russell from MNMTaxman.com, and I have with me Patrick Russell, EA, as well from MNMTaxman.com. Good morning to you, Patrick, and tell us what's the Caliente topic for today.
Well, wouldn't you know it, Veronica? Isn't this always the way with life? As soon as we jump on the bandwagon with Robinhood Securities,
Oh, yeah.
open up our account, provide all of our personal information, including our social security number and bank account access, wouldn't you know it, the very next week we find out that Robinhood was a victim of a major cyber attack.
Yep.
And that millions of their subscriber information, including all that wonderful personal data that you're always trying to protect, is now open on the black market. And so we obviously can't tell as individuals at this point what the significance of a breach like this could be. Needless to say, there's going to be a fallout from previous instances where I've had my identity and information breached. The culprit company, the company in question, normally would reach out to subscribers with some type of package of security to offer some semblance of peace of mind that this breach won't cause any future liability, loss, or harm. In one instance, I had credit protection offered for 5 years for free. Okay. So things of that nature are probably going to be coming down the pipeline, I would say. But it is the world that we live in, Veronica. Anytime that you make a purchase on iTunes or Amazon, you are living in a world where you provide all the information for a hacker, a black hat wearing hacker, to use that, get access to that information and use that information in a monetized way that would likely cause some financial damage either to your checking account, credit account, or your credit report history.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Based on the latest news, this mentioned company apparently says that no socials were, I guess,
how can they really know at this point?
They said just basically emails and birth dates. And then at this point, like you said, it's like, wait a minute. If they were able to get into your system and then hack my email, what makes you think that I don't believe that they got my social too?
I think you have to add a grain of salt to everything that the company is currently stating until we start seeing some lawsuits where discovery, subpoenas, and depositions to really see exactly the extent of the data breach. We have to understand lip service is really what's being given right now. And so, of course, they're going to minimize the damage as much as possible, but be real. If they were able to hack into your, into your database at all, that means they got through your security protocols. Clearly, that is what happened. So to say that they can truly know the extent of the data breach, I think, is both lip service and truly at this point just a way of minimizing the damage legally for the litigious battle that they probably are facing down the line. Now, not to completely consume this webcast with some really dreary news about how, unfortunately, how available and how vulnerable our personal and financial information is in this new world. Let's move on to, as we start again, as our day trading adventures continue on, and we'll soldier on as always, a new provision that did survive the budgetary plan that recently passed through the House of Representatives is a change to IRC code 6050I. Now, if you remember, Veronica, this is the IRC provision that dictates, that requires a reporting of cash transactions. Now, there's two types. You have banking transactions of $10,000 or more. The bank has a form for that. And then within your business, any cash transactions that take place in a given tax year of $10,000 or more is supposed to be reported to the IRS on Form 8300. So now, a significant change to that code. And we've lived with that for a long time. That's been a provision that's been in the code for decades. So it's not something that the common man isn't already aware of, right? $10,000, we know. The bank has to send a report. And as a business owner, we also have some filing requirements. Everybody kind of understands that. Well, The big change now with Papa Joe's new budgetary plan is to add the concept and term of trader and dealer and digital assets to the definition. So not just cash businesses or cash transactions through banking, but digital asset transactions, aka cryptocurrency, is on the block now. So what you're looking at is a situation where moving forward with this new budgetary plan and the new revisions to the IRC 6050I code, you are looking at any transactions of $10,000 more in digital currency will now be susceptible and open to IRS tax reporting. Now,
that's perfect.
Well, the reality is this, is that for the ordinary guy, for Joe Schmo, this isn't going to bother him. This is not going to bother his investing techniques. This isn't going to bother his saving techniques. Simply because if it didn't bother you from the cash and the banking standpoint, then this is simply just another hurdle that you will come to accept as just the new world and the price and cost of doing business, and it will not harm you in any way. In fact, just like with the banking provisions, you'll probably never think about it. Now it is for the crooks and those high aspiring white collar crooks that are really using the divide between digital capacity and digital regulating, operating in that black market region, if you will, that now is raising up arms and trying to, through privacy complaints, show a show of a backlash against this provision, stating that this will damage the cryptocurrency industry and market, suppress investment, and somehow discourage investment into future cryptocurrency, things like Bitcoin, and discourage investments in having the digital currency as still the next currency of the future, which is like punching an ocean, by the way.
And the thing is that if you don't have anything too high, you're not even going to think about it, because even if you're going beyond the $10,000, who cares? You're still, doing your thing, and you're not going to encounter any issues, right?
Sometimes I feel like I have to remind everybody that I am a red-blooded, fiscally conservative Republican raised by a Ronald Reagan loving father. And so I understand low taxes, low regulation, small business encouragement. I live that, and I believe in that through and through. But what I also believe is everybody paying their fair share. And the idea that that the financial studies and the economic and tax studies that have been performed show unequivocally, inarguably, that at the top 1% and those that are using the digital divide between what can be done and what can be regulated and policed, that once we finally shine a light on this black region of financial transactions, that the rest of us can now enjoy marginal tax rates. Guys, right now we're thinking 30%. Think 3% or lower if everybody just followed the rules. I encourage shrewdness. I encourage maximizing loopholes. What I don't encourage is hiding millions of dollars, scratch that, billions of dollars of taxable revenue offshore or in these digital safes and markets that are currently now unregulated. But we're talking about billions of dollars that can be recovered for the rules as they stand now, not taking any more out of anybody's pocket, but just forcing those that make the rules to stand by their own rules. And that, I believe, is what democracy and a good, healthy, working tax infrastructure must resemble.
Right.
From a younger generation's perspective, how do you feel about digital currency now being basically just looked at as cash, which was always inevitable, but is now coming sooner rather than later? What are your thoughts about that now? As far as somebody that, uses cash versus debit card, credit cards, how do you live over your phone in most cases when we're buying things?
I think that's great. I mean, everything has to be regulated, and I think it's a great idea, and we can be upset about these things, right? I mean, this is to move forward and to make sure that everyone knows that we're following the steps, so that I don't have any issues as a person and also as a professional. I think that's going to help a lot of people as well with the reports and making sure they know back and forth, whatever they're doing. So that I think that's great.
The biggest pushback and complaint and argument from the Republican caucus against any spending plan is the fact that it was going to add to the deficit. Well, goodness gracious. Wouldn't it be a great idea to implement a rule that would now uncover billions of dollars? All right, let's limit it. Millions, but hundreds of millions of dollars of lost tax revenue simply by allowing the IRS to know exactly what's happening on the higher atmosphere of the digital market. Guys, go ahead.
Great points. Guys, remember, we're not lawyers. This is not a paid consultation either. But if you need one, please email us at mnmtaxman@gmail.com or send us a quick text message to 562-756-9924.
A quick way to get a quick answer is by using the comment box below. Don't just subscribe to this channel, even though we will be doing this pro bono tax workshop on a daily basis, but lend your voice to the show. It'll make it a whole lot more fun, guys. Have a wonderful Hump Wednesday.